Hey guys, Pastor Tom here. Today I want to talk to you about why in the book of Acts, in the early Christian church, was there so much persecution and hardships. And that question reminds me of a conversation I had a couple days ago. It was with Mr. Haberman, our 7th and 8th grade teacher, and we were kind of having a grumpy old man conversation. We were complaining about dandelions in our yard. Mr. Haberman was like, "They're weeds, I want them dead." I'm a little bit more laid back. As far as weeds go, they look alright, but I understand that you should probably try and get rid of them. But what if I told them, I said, here's a good way how to kill dandelions. You pick it, and then you crush it. What do you think is going to happen? As you can kind of see already, the seeds, they're falling off the dandelion. And what would happen after you crush a dandelion? Well, it would just make more dandelions. And in a lot of ways, that reminds me of what was going on in the book of Acts. Because there were government leaders, people from the Jewish church, the Pharisees, that hated the Christians. And they saw all sorts of Christians just sprouting up all over the land. And they had an idea. They said, you know how we're going to get rid of them? We're going to crush them. So you read story after story about how the disciples were whipped or flogged or thrown in prison. Even several were put to death. But you know what happened? It was like they were trying to crush a dandelion, and the seeds, they just went out, and more Christians just kept sprouting up. And there's a reason for that. There's a saying in history, the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. Meaning that whenever Christians would seem to shed their blood for the faith, more Christians would just continue to grow and make the church even bigger. And the reason for that was because when the outside world would look at somebody being willingly being beaten up, flogged, thrown in prison, fed to lions, they would say, whoa, what are these people believing in? What would lead somebody to do so crazy but to give up their life for this message that they believe in? And that would give other Christians the opportunity to confess what they believed in. They could say, hey, you can beat me up, you can whip me, you can throw me in prison, you can kill me, but that's not going to make me give up my belief of what Jesus has done for me. I believe that Jesus died on the cross for me, and he rose from the dead to give us a home in heaven. So even if you kill me in this world, I'm still not going to give up what I believe, but I know that I have a home waiting for me in heaven. So do what you got to do, but I'm not going to give up what I believe. And those bold confessions of faith, the way that people would even die for their faith, that led other people to come to Christianity. It didn't crush out the Christian church, it actually made it bigger. And how crazy is that? That the message that you and I believe to this day is a message that thousands and thousands of people have died for. So just think about that for a moment. Don't take it for granted. As you can worship publicly, as you can read your Bible as loud as you want to in your home, and not being worried about persecution, that's great. As Christians today, we still face some persecutions. Other countries, they face a lot of it, more of the physical persecution. I would say that today it's more of the psychological persecution. A couple days ago, I was watching an animated TV show for adults. And I'm not going to say which one it was because it's just too embarrassing. And it was a funny show. And just later on in the episode, it just switched gears and the whole episode turned into making fun of Jesus and Christians. And it just seemed uncalled for, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And maybe you've experienced that as well for whatever Netflix shows you watch. Christians seem to be the easy ones to be made fun of. If you look at the news, Christians are usually portrayed as the uneducated type. And that's more of the persecution that we face today, trying to make you feel alone. The psychological persecution that Christians are dumb. That's tough. That's its own cross to bear. But at least we aren't shedding our blood. But whatever you go through, whether it's a psychological persecution, or if things even heat up and the church gets persecuted even more, the same message that led thousands of Christians to give up their life in the book of Acts is the same message that will help us get through it today. That we have a God who loves us, who died for us, and has a home for us in heaven. So, whatever happens to us in this world, we're prepared for it because we know what Jesus has done for us. So God's blessings to you all.